Hello, Leos, and welcome to your March 1st through March 15th reading and predictions. For those of you who are new here, thank you so much for trusting and clicking on this video. And for those of you who are returning, thank you so much for continuing to support my channel. You will notice if you look at my subscriber count, I'm this close to reaching my first level of monetization, despite the fact that I have been making these videos for all of you for 2 years. So if you wouldn't mind clicking on that subscribe button, hitting those like buttons as well, it really does help the channel. I would be ever so grateful. Also, watch this video all the way through until the end. There's two reasons that I'm asking you to do this. One is because at the end of this video, I do have a deck of cards that does specifically yes and no answers. So if you're willing to put your trust into a general reading, I will be giving you an opportunity to ask your yes or no question, and then I will be pulling cards for the collective Leos out there as a response to your question. The second reason, of course, is because in order to be monetized, I also require watch hours, not just subscribers. So just keep the video playing. Also, there's lots of good information in here. All right, I'm pulling up my notes for your last reading. And your last reading covering the time frame February 15th through February 29th. The Magician had come out for you guys. Wow, I love the Magician. Every time the Magician shows up in a reading, I get tingles. The Magician, of course, is about waking up to how powerful we really are as human beings. The vast majority of us still believe that the law of attraction happens for others but doesn't happen to us. Oh, we're just not that powerful. Oh, we can't influence energies. All of these various things that we have been led to believe from the time we're very young. And yet the Magician calls into question all of that. And the other thing that came up from your last video, just clicking off my notes there, the other thing that came up from your last reading, Leos, was that you had an important decision to make. So have you made that decision? It was indicating that you had a decision to make close to the end of February, and once made, there was going to be some kind of a new beginning that was going to require you to move ahead fairly quickly because the Ace of Wands, I believe it was, had come up right at the end of your last reading. So let's dive in. We are going to start with where you are at now, what's coming up for you right now as I do this reading for you. At the end of February, we have one card. It didn't flip all the way out, but it did flip over. So I will yank it out of the deck here in just a moment. Okay, there it is. Okay. So, yes, you do still have a decision to make here, Leos. You have the Two of Swords coming up. Now, the Two of Swords is about needing to make a decision on blind faith. And as I mentioned, I believe it was it was the Ace of Wands that came up, but I'm not sure what two came up for you. Yeah, important decision to make, but I'm not sure exactly which two had come up to indicate that you had a decision to make last month there, Leo. But here moving into March, you do have the Two of Swords. And the Two of Swords is about needing to make a decision based on blind faith. The reason I say that is because in the Two of Swords on almost all of the tarot decks, it doesn't matter whether it's Lightseers, Everyday Witch, how many tarot decks are out here, right? The character on the deck on the Two of Swords is blindfolded. Okay. So there's absolutely a decision that you've got just coming up on the horizon here, Leo. You're going to have to make it. And generally, when the Two of Swords comes up, it's that you need to make a decision without knowing what one of the outcomes or what either one of the outcomes is going to be. So typically when we make a decision, we like to make that decision knowing, let's take buying a car, for example, Leo. Buying a car, we know that we could get the car of our dreams, but we're probably going to be in debt for some time. But it's going to be the car of our dreams. Or we could buy a car within our budget but how's that car going to make us feel every time we get into it? But then again, if we're in debt, how's it going to feel every time we get into that car, right? So we can see what the outcome is of buying a car of lesser value versus buying a car of more financial value, right? So that would be more of, two of wands energy where, you can see both the outcomes and it's going to require you to make that decision and take some action. But the two of swords is about not knowing the outcome. So, for example, do I quit my current job and move halfway across the country for a job that I applied for that I'm hoping to get, but I really don't know whether I'm going to get it? But they need me on the other side of the country to do the interview process. Okay. That is making a decision based on blind faith. And that's really what you have in front of you at this time. Now, you also have the Queen of Pentacles and the Eight of Wands coming out right next to this Two of Swords. The Eight of Wands is a card of timing. This here is the Eight of Wands, and it's a card of timing, and it's a card of things are coming together for the right timing for magic to happen. Look at how this is all of these wands coming together and they're going to touch in the middle, and there's this spark of creativity and this spark of fire and action, and things are moving forward. But in order for this to happen, there are a lot of wands that have to line up all together at the right time. Okay. So again, with this Two of Swords, making the decision on blind faith, moving into the Eight of Wands, and where the timing is going to have to be correct. And then moving into this Queen of Pentacles. Now, the Queen of Pentacles is the richest queen in the deck. She has more money than all the rest of the queens. But the reason that this queen can sit here proudly and stare off into space and be mm, just have this air of confidence about her is because she has worked hard to achieve what she has. Okay. She wasn't just handed all of this on a silver platter. Now, the Queen of Pentacles has both worked hard in the physical 3D. I have a job to do and I'm doing it, and that's what's helping me to achieve my abundance. But also, you'll notice on this particular card that this character has what may appear to be branches or antlers tucked into her head covering, indicating that she is also in touch with the divine, in touch with what she might refer to as her higher power, or the divine, or the universe, or her God, however you want to refer to it, Leo. But the reality is that in order to have achieved her status, she not only is doing the hard work in the 3D, but she is also tapping into her intuition or the unseen world in order to be receiving advice and taking that advice. Now, let's move into what you are focusing on and where you are putting your energies. And please keep in mind, Leo, that our thoughts create our realities, and therefore the cards that I'm pulling at present are going to show us what you're thinking about and what thoughts are coming up for you as you move through the early stage of March. So we have the Seven of Pentacles and we have the Ten of Cups. So let's start with the Seven of Pentacles. The Seven of Pentacles is, again, a card indicating that we need to continue to be putting our work into what we are doing. And the Seven of Pentacles may also indicate that there are a couple of distractions coming up for us, that we have set our sights on going in a particular direction, and yet the universe may have in this particular case may have something going on behind us over here that we're diligently working away over here at tending to our pentacles that were growing on the tree, and over in behind us something else is going on behind us. We're kind of semi aware that there's something else going on, and we're like, oh, should I be tempted to go over there? I don't know. I need to continue to tend to my pentacles, but oh, there's a distraction over here. Okay. So this card in your focus is you are focusing on tending to your garden, You're focusing on your career, you're focusing on improving things, but the universe is also um, sending you little temptations along the way. And what I would say is when the sevens come up in the tarot, the sevens are often about um, little tests that the universe is giving us. So that's one of the things that's coming up for you, Leo, at the beginning of March. This is not a roadblock. This is not the universe throwing something up in front of you going, oh my God, you are on the wrong path, not in any way, shape, or form. This is about your career. And I was feeling that back over here too with this Two of Swords coming up, that the decision that you need to make is pertaining to your career. And then you had the Queen of Pentacles, you've got the Seven of Pentacles here. So yes, definitely I'm sensing that this is turning into a work or career type reading, and that you've got a decision to make about your career. And there's little seeds being planted. I would say almost like seeds of questioning. I don't want to say doubt, but it's definitely seeds of, are you sure you're on the right path? And it's not pointing you in the direction of, you're on the wrong path, and so we're going to throw monkey wrenches at you. It's more just making sure that you are actually committed to the path that you have chosen, Leos. And the other card that you have in your focus is the Ten of Cups. Now, the Ten of Cups is a happy card. It's a card of achievement, and it's a card indicating I have achieved everything that I wanted to in my life. My life is beautiful. I have all my 10 cups. I have my relationship. I've got a roof over my head. I've got family and support around me. And yeah, I feel like I've arrived. And yet, it's next to this Seven Pentacles, and you're going, okay, I feel like I've arrived, but maybe there's something more. Let's look at your difficult influences. We are going over to the Ocho Zen. Difficult influences and challenges for Leo. All right, so we have two cards that have jumped out for you, Leo. Let's take a look. Intensity and silence. And the silence card does correspond to the moon. So let's dive into the intensity card. This card came up in your difficult influences and challenges. And what this is telling me, Leo, is that right now you have a decision to make. You need to make that decision on blind faith. The decision likely pertains to work, job, career. There are little temptations being dangled before you, and you're going, am I on the right path or not? And the intensity card coming up in your difficult influences is indicating that you may be making a mountain out of a molehill, and you're making this experience feel more intense than it actually is. Okay. And I'm kind of feeling like we may even see the Nine of Swords come up somewhere in your reading. I'm not sure, but I'm getting the Nine of Swords type feeling here of you feeling like, oh my God, and I have to make a decision. I'm stressed out and this is so intense. And I have to make the decision without knowing all of the answers with this Two of Swords. And oh my goodness. And I really, really want to put my mind towards this Ten of Cups and having everything that I ever dreamed of. But, I'm working towards it, but there's temptations and there's little things making me question every decision that I'm making. When you change your perception, when you change your wording, when you change how things are coming through to you, Leo, the intensity will subside. If you think that making this decision on blind faith is going to be intense? It will be intense. But if instead you look at it, well, I've made lots of decisions this way without knowing the outcome, and the vast majority have turned out okay. So why am I making a mountain out of a molehill? So explore that as you move through the beginning of March here, Leo. And the other card you have is the Silence card. This is the card that corresponds to the moon. This is the card about tapping deeply into our intuition. Now, oftentimes when the Two of Swords appears, having to make a decision on blind faith, when the Seven of Pentacles appears, and we've got these little tests coming up in our lives, we go into this intensity and we go into a very intellectual place instead of tapping into our intuition. This card coming up in your difficult influences is indicating that you are having a little difficulty tapping into and trusting your intuition at this time, Leo. So really tap in and trust your intuition. Also, the moon card brings to mind cycles and phases. So remember that whatever it is that you're experiencing at this time, Leo, it's just a cycle, it's just a phase. It'll move on, it'll shift. All right, let's move into messages the universe wants you to hear at this time. Messages from the universe. Let's try again. Messages for Leo. Messages from the universe. Got one card coming out and a couple more. There we go. All right. Messages from the universe. Okay. Never judge another. Okay. That makes sense. Another message from the universe. Patience is a virtue. This card is important because when you have to make a decision, and worse yet, your decision has to be made on blind faith, when you bring patience into it, it gives you an opportunity to tap deeply into your intuition and really listen and hear your intuition. That's going to make making the decision feel less intense, and is going to help you to move into this 10 of cups that, like I said, your thoughts create your reality. And if your intention is to move towards this feeling of contentment in your life, which is represented by the 10 of cups, then you're going to have to exercise a little bit of patience as you move through the beginning of March here, Leo, and let go of ego. This is important because when this Two of Swords comes up as the very first card in your reading of having to make a decision on blind faith, our ego wants to know everything before we decide anything. And that's just not reality. So let go of your ego, and that's going to help you move into this 10 of Cups energy, this contentment energy. Let's move into and pull cards for your unexpected. I'm getting called back to the Osho Zen. Let's see what's unexpected for Leo. 2 cards out. Anything else unexpected for Leo? I think there's another card. It looks like it's going to come out, maybe. Let's see. It's the end. Yes, it did. Oh, there's actually a couple of cards there. There's 2. See how they didn't go in? These 2 cards? All right. So, Leo, in your unexpected, we have 4 cards for... I nailed it. Leo, a few minutes ago in your reading, I said, I am not going to be surprised if I see the 8 of Swords come up in your reading. And I felt like the reading had an energy of the 8 of Swords. Well, guess what card you have? See this down at the bottom? Number 8 in the silver represents the 8 of Swords from the Osho Zen Tarot. This is the card of catastrophism. This is the card of thinking the worst case scenario. Oh my God. Oh, if I don't know all of the answers ahead of time, how can I possibly make a choice? Oh, this feels so intense. This is a card of coming from a place of intellect. Well, guess what? The moon is reminding us not all of our answers come from intellect. A lot of our answers come from both putting in the hard work as well as tapping into our intuition. Remember what I said with this Queen of Pentacles. She achieved what she has in her life, not only from putting in the hard work, but also from tapping into her intuition. And here you go. There's your confirmation in your unexpected. There's that Eight of Swords coming up. You have the Nine of Pentacles. Nine of Pentacles is the card of ripeness. Now, remember what I said. This Eight of Wands indicated that there was an aspect of making sure that you had the right timing as you're making this decision, Leo. This card, the Nine of Pentacles, Nine of Rainbows from the Osho Zen, is the card of ripeness. This is the card indicating that the timing is right. And I want to say, because this came up in your unexpected, it doesn't mean that the timing is right instantly March 1st and we switch from February 29th into March 1st and all of a sudden the timing and the stars are going to line up. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is the 2 or 2.5 weeks, the first 2 or 2.5 weeks of March, there is an aspect to the timing. There is a ripeness for you to step up and step into making this decision, making a move about your career, making a change or a shift. You have the conditioning card. Now, here is an important thing for you. Again, confirmation. Like I said, at the beginning of this reading, I said the Eight of Swords is going to come out in your reading. I wouldn't be surprised. The Eight of Swords came out in your messages from the universe. Let go of ego. Well, what card came up? The conditioning card. This card corresponds to the devil from the traditional tarot. The devil card is ego. It's all about us exploring deeply. Am I coming from a place of ego or am I coming from a place of authenticity? Leo, I can't make this up. And I want to take this one step further as well, because Leo, who's on this card? You are. I'm going to take two minutes right now, and I'm going to explain this card more deeply. The conditioning card, the devil card, the ego card is about us looking at why we make the decisions that we make. Now, some people describe the devil card as having the little devil on one shoulder, the little angel on the other shoulder, and the little devil is saying, be bad. And the little angel saying, don't be bad. Come from a place of authenticity. No, no, no. It's okay to come from a place of ego and greed and wanting to control. Okay. Now, what I just said is all true, but also is greed and control inherently devilish? Part of the conditioning is also looking at our belief systems. So some people will believe that the pursuit of additional abundance and wealth in our lives is coming from a place of ego. Or is it coming from a place of just wanting what's best for ourselves? And is there anything inherently evil about wanting more for ourselves? This is the conditioning. These are the lessons, and this is the meat and potatoes of your reading here, Leo. This is your work this month, moving into March. Look deeply into your beliefs, your conditioning, looking at your ego. And then we have one more synchronistic card here in your unexpected that resonates deeply with one of the other cards. And that is this Two of Swords. I'm going back to it again, needing to make a decision on blind faith. You want confirmation that you are meant to make this decision on blind faith? Do you see the word on that card? Trust. Take a leap of faith, Leo, and trust. What are we trusting? We're trusting our intuition. Trusting our intuition. There's a number of cards here, Leo, that are about the timing and about tapping deeply into your intuition and trusting that as you make this decision. And like I said, I do strongly feel that the decision is directly related to your career. Final general overall outcome, and then we will get to your yes, no question. Final outcome for Leo. We got a card, it's going to fall out. I think it is. All right. Leo, we have the Queen of Wands to round out your reading. There is only the one card that has come out. And the Queen of Wands, yet again, has a sense of spirituality about her. Now, the Queen of Wands is the Queen of Fire. She is ruled by the element of fire. The rule of thumb about the wands or the element of fire is if somebody lights a fire underneath your butt, you are likely to move and take action. This is about timing. And Leo, the cards are indicating the timing is right. The first 2 or 2.5 weeks of March for you to make a decision, make a choice. And again, as I mentioned, this Queen of Wands, she does have an aspect of spirituality and the esoteric about her because she does have the black cat in front of her at her feet, indicating that there is an aspect of spirituality, of intuition, of her making her decisions. But again, she is the queen of action. Absolutely. She is the move forward in business and creative endeavors queen. Okay. There you have it, Leo. All right. Bring to mind your burning question that requires a yes no answer, or word your question in such a way as to require a yes no answer. You may wish to close your eyes and ask your question several times in your mind or out loud as I shuffle the deck. Just a reminder, this is a general reading, so the answers may not resonate for 100% of you, but generally, as it's a general reading. Oh my goodness. Now, out of all of these cards that have yes, no answers on them, there is one. There's two. One is a yes and one is a no that both pertain to timing. And in your reading, Leo, you had a number of cards that pertained to timing, including this Nine of Pentacles, indicating that the time is ripe. The fruit is ripe for the picking. This one here with you having put in the work and effort, timing. And in response to your yes, no question, Leo, here's your answer. The time is right. And this Queen of Wands, also, she's the Queen of Action. So there you have it, Leo. This wraps up your reading. Again, thank you for watching all the way until the end. If this did resonate for you, please consider subscribing to the channel. Help me to reach that first level of monetization. Like the video and allow me the honor, come the middle of March, to be able to do your next reading for you. Thank you so much, everyone.